Today, I will make sense of an Indonesian parody show film called Too Handsome to Handle. Spoilers ahead. Look out and fare thee well. The Mas family has been attractive for a few ages. They are respected by a larger number of people as a result of their excellence, which thusly makes them truckload of cash. The oldest child, Ocus, is a web force to be reckoned with. He has a huge number of supporters due to his looks, and is likewise considered an affection master who assists men with dazzling their smashes. The dad, Picker, used to be a heartbreaker who dated in excess of 1,200 young ladies prior to meeting her mom. In the interim, the mother can likewise be considered attractive in view of her manly elements and an undeniable mustache. In conclusion, the hero, Kulin, is the most youthful child and the most appealing of all. The family has become accustomed to their life as individuals with great looks, with the exception of Kulin, who battles to live regularly on account of his attractiveness. He frequently wishes he was just somewhat alluring. Like that, he could go out without being pursued by a horde of ladies like clockwork. Young ladies go off the deep end, pass out, pull their hair, and frequently get nose drains on getting a gander at his appealing face. Thus, he has never had certifiable collaboration with a young lady. He tries not to go out in the open so a lot, as could be expected, and has been self-taught till now. Kulin has no companions he can converse with other than his pet fish. He frequently plays a game of cards with it and converses with it without holding back. His family watches him through a camera in stress. They believe he should have an ordinary teen life and make an honest effort to help him. Ocus, much of the time, shows him pictures of young ladies, attempting to attach him with somebody. In any case, Kulin says that his sort in young ladies is somebody who could do without him. He needs to be seen for his character and interest, not his face. When nothing attempts to propel Kulin to go out, the family makes it a stride further. They intend to counterfeit monetary issues and culpability him into going to a school. One night when Kulin awakens to hydrate, his folks imagine to be stressed over their funds. They emphatically proclaim that they will just have fried eggs for breakfast until they bring in sufficient cash for Kulin's self-teaching. He feels terrible to bring his folks such a lot of hardship. The following morning, he announces that he will be going to class for the impending semester. The family is thrilled until he specifies that he will simply go to an all-young men's school. Despite the fact that they would have favored him to have the option to converse with young ladies, they are glad to approach slowly and carefully. A couple of days after the fact is Kulin's most memorable day at a real school. Ocus drops him off on his bicycle, however, Kulin doesn't take his head protector off. He designs to wear it the whole day to conceal the reality he is attractive. In any case, the arrangement misfires when the cap gets more notice than he expected to. Kulin discreetly plunks down in the last seat, however, is gotten down on by the class Meneseti and his cronies. At the point when the educator enters the study hall, she also is shocked to see a person with a head protector. She encourages him to take it off right that moment. Albeit hesitant, Kulin has not a chance, however, to oblige. He gradually takes the cap off in an emotional way, uncovering his face. In the accompanying scene, the educator is being stacked into an emergency vehicle. Incidentally, she began to nosebleed and hyperventilate in light of the fact that of Kulin's excellence. Different children gripe to the foremost that the new understudy is excessively attractive to deal with. Kulin goes through the passage to return home, however, is stumbled by one of the harassers. They carry him to the school's storeroom and present themselves like they are power officers. They are known as the Tic-a-Tac, a gathering of 3 domineering jerks drove by Saidi, the central's child. Later, the beyond ridiculous presentation, they uncover that they need Kulin's assistance to ask a young lady out for prom. The gathering has been in the senior year of school for the beyond 3 years. They've declined to graduate until Saidi goes to the prom with the most gorgeous young lady of the BBM school, Amanda. Be that as it may, she just acknowledges demands from attractive men, so the gathering maintains that Kulin should convey the promposal. They dole out an honest person, Kibo, to help Kulin and lead the way. Kibo has, likewise, been a survivor of their tricks before and is obliged to do what the harassers say. Subsequently, Kulin goes to the Key's office with Kibo to submit an authority question about harassing in school. Kibo understands what the result will be. Nevertheless, he actually goes with Kulin. The chief is grieved by his child declining to graduate. Since Kulin's excellence allows him an opportunity to take Amanda to the prom, the chief believes them should do anything the harassers say. That night, Kulin and Kibo choose to follow through with the job the following day and get free of the obligation. Kibo is the primary individual who has offered grace to Kulin, irrelevant to his excellence. Albeit the day didn't go as expected, he is glad to have acquired a companion. The following morning, they go to the BBM school where the young ladies smell the presence of the young men. They are severe about not permitting monstrous young men to enter the school premises. Consequently, when they notice Kulin wearing a protective cap, the whole school requests that he take it off. In a climactic scene, Kulin takes the cap off and pandemonium follows among the young ladies. A couple of hours after the fact, the news makes it to the TV. Clasps of young ladies crying, seeping through their noses, getting had, and bouncing around are being shared generally around online entertainment. Kulin begins being known as the too attractive to be even considered dealing with fellow. The most smoking understudy of the BBM school and model, named Amanda, additionally hears the news and is quickly stricken by Kulin. He is the principal fellow who matches in magnificence and status with her. She promptly makes it her central goal to intrigue him. At the point when the news becomes colossal, a horde of young ladies assembles before the mass home. The family begins charging them cash for a house visit. Kulin, who is concealing in the roads, sees his family on the news. He feels deceived and utilized by his own kin. At the point when they call him, he denies to return home and feels considerably more troubled when his pet fish is misused and killed by the sightseers. He is currently on the top of a structure stowing away from the crazy people pursuing him on the roads. Out of nowhere, a young lady shows up behind him and asks on the off chance that he will leap off the rooftop. Kulin looks at her in shock since she doesn't drain from her nose or drop on seeing him. The young lady won't talk and basically leaves. Kulin is anxious to the point that he can scarcely talk. The experience fills his heart with joy much better. Sometime later, he calls Kibo, who gets him, and welcomes him to his home. He and his grandma invite Kulin to remain however long he needs. On strolling into Kibo's room, he sees two intriguing collectible playing a game of cards and is flabbergasted by them. They understand that they share a few normal interests and playing card assortment is one of them. The next day, they visit the all-young ladies school to search for the young lady from yesterday. While they are grinding away, they additionally meet Amanda and give her the records of the promposal sent by City. Amanda professes to be unamused by Kulin's excellence, yet after he leaves, her nose drains plentifully. Kulin sees his crush on the steps, yet different young ladies encompassing him don't permit him to meet her. For the following couple of days, Kibo and Kulin do everything together and become dearest companions. One evening, Kibo takes Kulin to play futsal, where he oftentimes goes to meet his crush, Rear. After the match, Kulin sees the young lady from the rooftop working at a shop close by. He can't resist the urge to gaze at her. All of a sudden, Kibo shows up and acquaints Rear with him. Kulin finds that she is likewise Kibo's crush, who he was discussing before. The two appear to be pretty close, which makes Kulin envious. He can scarcely nod off that evening on the grounds that the inclination is new and confounding to him. Then he recollects Okis is an affection master and fixes a gathering with him. At the point when they meet the next morning, Okis separates, sobbing tears of joy. He had been trusting that the day will offer his sibling guidance on young ladies. Kulin has pardoned his family for selling out to his fans since, in such a case that had not occurred, he could never have met Rear. The siblings then go out to shop for food while Okis rattles off the places of things Kulin ought to do to dazzle his crush. As Kulin follows Okis' ideas, he enrolls he is a long way from realizing Rear like Kibo knows her. However, he actually doesn't have any desire to abandon his most memorable love. One evening, Amanda comes to the young men's school and hands Kulin a greeting for her birthday. Close by it, she likewise gives him a telephone as a gift. Sometime thereafter, Kibo, Kulin, and Rear go to karaoke. In the end, Rear and Kulin get to sing together. While Kulin is eager to two-part harmony with her, Rear just spotlights on Kibo. He soon registers that she likewise prefers Kibo back. The disclosure causes his heart to fold in envy. In this way, when Kibo isn't anywhere near, he gruffly inquires as to whether she has eyes only for him. At first, Rear denies it, however, when Kulin lies about Kibo being enamored with Amanda, her face drops. Her demeanor is sufficient to validate his premonitions. Subsequent to getting back, Kulin calls Amanda and asks her for some help. She joyfully consents to do whatever he says. The following day, a few group accumulate at the setting to praise her birthday. At the point when Kulin and Kibo show up, Amanda invites them. Oddly enough, she is by all accounts more keen on Kibo than in Kulin. She even pulls him to the side to talk to him in private. Simultaneously, Rear shows up at the party and sees Amanda kissing Kibo. Crushed, she runs outside. Exploiting her weakness, Kulin admits his affections for her. Rear expresses gratitude toward him, yet guarantees that she never saw him as somebody in excess of a companion. Indeed, even in the wake of contriving against his main closest companion, Kulin doesn't get anything consequently. The gathering of menaces additionally see Amanda kissing Kibo and are incensed with desire and outrage. They beat Kibo available while Kulin watches from adjacent, too terrified to even think about meddling. Afterward, he brings Kibo home and dresses his injuries close by his grandma. Solely after seeing him, grown in torment, does Kulin understand that he has committed a tremendous error. The following day, Kibo gives him an unbelievable card from his card assortment that Kulin had been needing for quite a while. Organization-ridden, Kulin admits to all that off base he has done work now. Kibo is stunned and hurt by the disloyalty. He guarantees that he would have left Rear, assuming he realized Kulin preferred her as well. The words simply hurt Kulin much more. Finally, Kibo orders him to promptly get out of the house. Realizing that he is off base, Kulin just leaves. He at long last gets back following a month. His family is thrilled, however the equivalent can't be said for Kulin. He secures himself in his room and doesn't converse with anybody. Be that as it may, in particular, he misses his dearest companion. The two find each other on occasion, however share nothing in excess of a look. At home, Kulin's mom is stressed over his prosperity. She moves toward him one evening and gives him his pet fish that never kicked the bucket. She additionally lets him know that he can return to being self-taught, assuming that is what he likes. The family just maintains that his bliss and is prepared to do anything for him. Kulin, contacted by her words, understands that he has individuals in his day-to-day existence who are pulling for his prosperity. This propels him to make things right among him and Kibo. The following morning he runs to Rear and tells her beginning and end. Following that, he goes to Kibo and attempts to apologize. In spite of the fact that Kibo excuses him from the outset, when gotten some information about Rear, he begins to depict the amount he adores her. Kulin shows him that Rear was paying attention to him on the telephone the whole time. Like that, he patches their relationship and returns to being both their companion. A couple of days after the fact, they generally go to prom together. Kibo's date is Rear, while Kulin's date is Amanda. True to form, Kulin and Amanda bring home the championship of prom lord and sovereign. Kulin hears a young lady remark that he is just somewhat attractive, and is in a flash attracted to her, demonstrating the beginning of another relationship.